So what is 5s? Let us go through what all these S means. So S1 of the 5s is the SEIRI. In the Japanese it is called SEIRI, which means sorting. S2 in Japanese it means set on, that is set in order. So you have to arrange the things in order so that you can retrieve it fast. S3, that is seiso. It means shining, regular cleaning so as to maintain its condition. S4 is saiketsu, that is standardize. In this step you have to standardize whatever we have done in the S1, S2 and S3. Now it's time to standardize it, otherwise the things will get deteriorate and again we will be back to S0, that is previous condition of S1. And the S5 is the shitsuke, that is sustenance. Now we have to sustain whatever we have done in the S1, S2, S3 and S4. So for the standardization, you may have to carry out the audit. You may have to prepare certain documentation so as the efforts are directed towards maintaining, sustaining the condition that is being achieved from S1 till S4. Now let us go through in detail about the S1, that is SEIRI, and set, that is sorting. So S1 is the SEIRI, that is sorting. You have to sort the things. Now for making the workplace free of clutter, free of items which are not necessary, we have to categorize it into the broad categories like necessary items, necessary things that we require, unnecessary things which are not required at all and may not necessary or may be necessary, that can be used in the future. Okay, so the green one is the regularly used, the yellow is the occasionally used, and the red one is the not used or unnecessary. So what you can see from this picture here, a lot of clutter is there, lot many things, the good things, the usable things are also there, and there are certain things which may not be required frequently, which might be required once in a while. Like we have to categorize what these things are doing here, what is the purpose of these things, what is the purpose of these things here. If this cutter is used frequently, we have to keep it separately. If this is required, if these items are required regularly, if this bottle is required, the voice here is required. So we have to see which are the things are necessary for the operation, for the working, the things which are not necessary at all, and there are things which are required not so frequently, occasionally it is required, so you have to sort them like that. So that is what is done in case of the sorting. So once you carry out this sorting, that is SEIRI, you will find your workplace clutter free. Unusable items will not be there. To understand the significance of the first step, the S1S or S1, that is SEIRI, that is sorting, can you find out the various, strengths. Inside this, it is cluttered one. There are certain strengths, there are certain weaknesses. The strengths are hidden, jumbled with the weaknesses. Can you find out the strengths from here? Take your time, pause the video here and then try to find out what can you find out the strengths from this jumbled matter. How difficult it is to find out the strengths from here. How many strengths you can identify. And that too, it's a time consuming process. It is stressing you out. So pause it, take your time, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and note down on a piece of paper. So once you are able to sort it out, or if the things were sorted properly, what you would have seen is this. Now it is clearly visible. The weaknesses are here and the strengths are here. Now you can clearly see the visibility is there, the strengths and the weaknesses. But in the earlier slide, what you can see is a jumbled one. You cannot recognize at all. So that is the importance of sorting the unnecessary things. The weaknesses in our oneself is the unnecessary things. So we have to remove it. And you have to focus on the strength. Similar way, on that table, on that workstation, what we have seen is lot of weaknesses, means unnecessary things are there. Lot of strengths, the necessary things are there, but they are jumbled. You don't know the time you require that particular thing. We don't know whether you will be able to find out that or not. You may not be able to utilize that thing because you are not able to find it out in time. So that's the importance of sorting the things. Now how you are going to carry out 1S, that is SEIRI or sorting. The popular method is red tagging. One has to identify the unwanted material and tag it using a red tag. So how it is going to help you, red tagging, how it is going to help you? In the red tag format, as you can see, it has a particular information written on here. When a 5 years activities are initiated in any organization, a big cleaning day is carried out. That is a big, we call it big cleaning day. On that particular day, the whole organization is thoroughly cleaned by way of removing the unwanted material from that particular workstations. From all the workstations, the unwanted materials are removed. But an unwanted material at one workstation might be a necessary one at others. So it is not advisable that you just throw it away or scrap it away. If that doesn't belong to you, that decision has to be taken by somebody else, whether that particular equipment, that particular instrument is required or not. Now, whenever you are going to sort the material from your workstation, you have to tag it. A red tag is used to identify that particular item, and it is being then shifted to the red tag holding area, where a committee or a group or a team comprising of people from various sections having the knowledge of all these particular type of materials gather, they inspect the material and then they categorize it, whether it is usable, whether it is repairable, whether it is unusable, whether we have to discard it. All these decisions are taken. Now on the rate tag you can see, apart from the date tagged by who or the department, there are item tags, whether it's a raw material, whether it's the finished goods, whether it's a work in progress, that is WIP, machine part, tools, instrument, equipment, others. What is that? So it is not a one-time activity. Whenever you find any such material, what you have to do in the organization, the rate tag holding areas are identified. The area owner where that particular material, unwanted material, is identified, they fix this rate tag on that one and shift it to the rate tag holding area, rate tag material holding area basically, where these are the things written on that particular area, rate tag holding area. Why you have tagged that one is written. Unknown owner, for example, there is something lying at your workstation, you don't know whose material that is, nobody has come for 1 or 2 days or few hours. What you do, you will just tag it and send it to the, because when the 5 years culture is initiated in an organization, people has to keep the material at their respective areas, at the designated areas. So if it is an unknown owner, you will send it to that area, let that person find out, go there and find out their own material. If that particular material is no longer used at your end, you will rate tag it. If that particular instrument, machine, component doesn't work, you will tag it. And what is the actions to be taken? That actions are basically taken by the committee or a manager, that whether it is to be thrashed, whether it is to be hold, whether it's to move to particular section, whether you have to contact to somebody or any other specific reasons. Then the date here, that what date it has been identified, and the date here, what date this decision has been taken, and then there will be a tag number. Okay, so in the organization one has to compile this data, that how many rate tagging has been done, from which area it was, what kind of action has been taken. So the analysis will tell you what kind of issues the organization is facing. You have to take the action based on that. Why people are keeping unwanted material or their own material in other section? If that is the case, one has to find out whether a particular section is responsible for such irresponsible act. Then such persons needs to be reprimanded, such persons needs the counseling. This sorting activity is very important. The sorting activity basically make the workspace free of unwanted and unusable items. Now when your workspace is free of unwanted unusable items, your wanted items, usable items will be clearly visible. You will have more space, workspace to carry out your activities. Your workspace becomes more safer. That is the importance of this 1S. So before we move to the S2, that is set on, set in order, let us have a small quiz.